Right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today. I've got the pleasure to present to you about creating smarter and secure buildings through connected systems. A little bit about me. My name is Viet Tang. I'm an account executive for Genetec. Been with Genetec for about 8 years now. Been within this industry for about 24 years. So, long time serving. A little bit about Genetec. We're a North American, Canadian based company. We develop software applications. We've been running for around 28 years now. Okay. As I said, predominantly we've come from a security based industry developing software applications, and we are now moving heavily into connected systems. So why is there a big drive for connected systems? Okay, firstly, there's a big drive for connected systems, especially from a security perspective, when it comes to the changing of a development. Okay, we're starting to see it. 2019, 2020, we saw a big change in how offices were being used. Okay, and this caused developers a lot of headaches. Okay, it's gone from a fully filled up office block into an empty office block, and the owners are now looking at it going, what do we do with it? Okay, so there's a big shift into residential or even mixed developments. With that, it causes the developers and the technologists a big headache to try and resolve this. Secondly, there is a big drive for energy and sustainability through systems as well. Okay, big push. There's I believe 2030, there's a big push for carbon neutral buildings. Okay, because that's going to cause an impact on the future investments as well as the ability to rent buildings out. Okay, so there's a big push for and focus on technology helping there. Secondly, they're trying to do more with less. Okay, so all the key stakeholders, all the people are getting less and less systems and less budgets, but they have to do more with those budgets. They have to make those budgets go further. And lastly, there's a big push in technology integration. Okay, more and more technology out there. We're on this stand here, lots of different technology partners. They want to start integrating all of these different technologies together, a different consideration thought process. From a security perspective, these are some of the trends which we're starting to see. Okay, it's more than just traditional security now. It's more than cameras. It's more than traditional access control. It's the what more can we get from security. And so some of the things which they're looking at is the use of cameras. Okay, can we make cameras more intelligent? Biometrics access. Okay, being able to get into a building differently, making it more streamlined. And I've bracketed analytics and AI in there as well, because from a trend perspective, we're starting to see a lot more people talking about analytics and artificial intelligence and how they can implement those technologies into a building. Other smart building technologies which they want to start getting more connected to is the IoT devices. Okay, so there are so many sensors out there. They expect something like 1 billion sensors, okay, to be available, almost five IoT devices per human being. I think I've done the maths right, but they're thereabouts. Okay, so it's going to be a huge push for IoT devices. Other technologies, HVAC systems, okay, as well as lighting systems into a single platform, getting these connected. And then they say, right, there's a bigger shift within our industry, security industry and buildings industry, to adopt more cloud. Okay, so you've got all of these devices, okay, all on premise within a traditional building. How can we then utilize cloud? Again, another thought process. How are we going to create a secure ecosystem with cloud now? Another consideration before we start moving to technology is, who are the stakeholders? What are the challenges which they face in this? Yesterday I was on the panel. I mentioned on the panel that it used to be very simple from a security perspective. It used to be a security manager making the decision on what security platform is going in. Now, because our platform spans so much, being able to ingest so many different data points and so much different information, more and more people are getting involved. Okay. As said, you've still got the security people, but now operations are now invested in the platform as well. all the IT professionals within that organization are looking at this as going, well, it's no longer a standalone system. We need to be focused on the IT and security aspects of it. HR, they'll look at this going, right, my budget's being cut. I need to implement less systems. Can we have an influence on what systems getting deployed in there as well? What data can they pull out of this? Okay. As said, law enforcement, as well as the property and maintenance companies, all of these are key stakeholders which have to be engaged very early with connected systems. Okay, and these aren't limited to them. You know, you've got the cyber, you've got HR, you've got health and safety. All of these are now invested in an ecosystem of technology. Okay. As well as these stakeholders, we can see there are so many different threats and challenges which organizations are facing. There is the security threat from a physical security, but that's no longer just the only threat they're receiving. It's the cyber element as well. Okay, so having systems out there to look after your building, you're now getting attacked from different angles. Complexity, there is a lot of data out there. Speaking to a lot of people yesterday, a lot of people today, there's so many different ways systems can generate different data. And then you look at it, you know, the businesses look at it. What do we do that data? Inefficiencies, lots of different systems means lots of different training programs, different engineering programs, ultimately to get the same result, the information they need. Lastly, is getting to understand the data. Okay, being able to understand all that data coming into the platform. Okay, can we make something meaningful out of that? Lastly, from the previous slide as well, the collaboration between all the different stakeholders, and B, everyone within the organization, as well as from a buildings perspective, a tenant as well, all the different tenants. Data is unconnected. Okay, this is a typical city. Okay, there's lots of different data points. Large building, within London especially, is like a mini city. You've got hundreds and if not thousands of people within one tall building running multiple systems. Typically, they're all standalone. You'd have a standalone access control system, standalone camera system, a standalone fire system, water, elevate, dispatch, etc., so on and so forth. There's a lot of systems out there which are unconnected. They're not talking to each other. That is what I call dumb. Okay. What does this mean? These are 4 key points here. You've got the cost of the maintenance of the software. You look at all of these, that's 5, 10 different systems. They're trying to maintain all the different software. As well as that, you've got the hardware renewal cost as well. Okay, so you've got multiple hardware. Operator efficiency. Trying to learn 10 different systems. Okay, so you can imagine if HR want to learn one system and then they've got to go to the security department to learn something else and so on and so forth. There's lots of operator efficiency. And what happens if something does happen, if there is that spike in an anomaly, they could be panicking going, right, there's this alarm, but I've not looked at this system for 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know how to use it correctly. And lastly, as I said, the ongoing training. Okay, you've got to train operators, 5, 10 different systems, 10 different operators across those systems. You start adding the money up, it starts becoming very, very expensive, and it's ongoing. Okay, it doesn't stop because two people leave. Okay, then all of a sudden you've got to retrain them. It takes time and money, and also skills. There is a better way to do this. It's through a unified platform. Okay, Genetec unified platform where we have a lot of these built into the application, okay, into the platform itself. We've got the access control modules, the cameras, the ANPR modules, elevator, okay, all through one single pane of glass. Everyone looks for this single pane of glass, but this is what we call a unified platform. Through one bit of software, we can receive a lot of this, okay, and add on to that, analytics, okay. So everyone, as I mentioned a minute ago, talking about artificial intelligence. Okay, within our platform, we can support the artificial intelligence analytics from the camera manufacturers, from these different sources coming into a single platform. Okay. We can't do this by ourselves. Okay. As said, Genetec, we don't manufacture hardware. Okay. We are a manufacturer of software and a platform. Okay. We work with our partners, Axis, who are in there. Okay. We call them best of breed. Smart Spaces have a big input into our platform as well. As well as HID. We have over 2,000 integrations as well as our own application as well. So what this means is we can actually reach out to the ecosystem, the best of breed, to be able to develop a solution which best fits that customer's requirements. So whether that's a data ingestion, could be through Power BI, could be through XML, we can actually do that ourselves or through one of our partners, or it's a open API as well. Okay. Connecting these systems. The key thing here is big push to be greener. Okay. Lots of systems, as I mentioned a minute ago, within a building, we have the access control and we have the mapping functionality within the building. But let's start looking at connecting that to the IoT devices, or our system to the IoT devices. Okay. To be able to reduce the heating, okay, the heating element or the lighting element through the access control or through analytics or artificial intelligence analytics, we can take those numbers, and if it ever goes, if the occupancy numbers go down to 0, we can actually control the heating system. So if that meeting room goes down to 0, we have the ability to be able to take that and output a HVAC control. If there is a leak in the water, for instance, we could detect that and we could pull up a camera to illustrate that there's a leak in the water, and then we could shut the valves off through the system as well. Okay, so this is the key thing with a connected system, is there's so many different ways we can start adding the IT devices, the occupancy data, the lighting controls, all within one platform to be able to go, if this happens, then do this. As mentioned, Genetec is the platform. We harness data, and it's not only security data now, it's IoT data, AI data, biometrics data, to be able to ingest it into Genetec. As said, these devices are already out there and deployed within the building. We'll just take those devices into the Genetec platform. Before we added IoT device information into it, we already had a very, very powerful rules engine. Okay, so the key thing here is, with all the devices coming into Genetec, we can bring IoT devices, analytics, we can punch them through our rules engine to be able to go, if this happens, then this, but if that changes, then we can do something different. This is key. Okay, this is what we call IA, not AI, IA, intelligent automation, because you can program the system to do exactly what you want when something occurs within the building. Lastly, it will be presented to an operator to do some actionable intelligence. Okay, through one single GUI, they'll receive notification and then they can react on it. Okay, and then they can actually manage the building. Single pane of glass is mentioned so often. This is an example of our platform. We've got it running out there. Anyone wants to have a look at it? This is what we call a dashboard, where we're receiving so many different data inputs and presenting it in a meaningful way. On the left-hand side, we're monitoring all the power. Okay, we're also monitoring the access into that power grid as well. Underneath it, we can monitor the cameras live, real time. So not only are they getting the information, temperature from these power units, they're actually able to see the video as well. Now add analytics onto that. Access I saw earlier, the smoke detection, the fire detection. Okay, all of a sudden, if something does happen in here, they've got one single dashboard which is linked to all their power. As well as that, all the temperature transformers, again, if there's an anomaly, will be notified, an alarm. But at the same time, from a mustering perspective, this dashboard will show them exactly who's there, how many people are in the building. Okay, And then they know exactly where, from a health and safety perspective, everyone needs to be deployed. 22 Bishopsgate. Okay, everyone here has probably heard of 22 Bishopsgate. It is the biggest building in London. Okay, this is Genetec customer. It was completed in 2020, 61 levels. It's a very, very impressive building. This was interesting because 22 Bishopsgate already had silo standalone technology in there, which did what they needed to do. Access control does the access control bit, the cameras did the cameras bit, the intercoms did the intercoms bit, but they need to know more. Okay, they needed to harness the data from access control. We engaged with 22 Bishopsgate just after COVID was winding down. Okay, they had their access control system, but their access control system just gives them access control information. It doesn't give them business information, desk information. So they came to us, said, can you help us out? Absolutely. We will aggregate, we will take your access control data into Genetec, and then we will be able to, we will spit out dashboards specifically for them to view. Okay. What more? Video analytics. Okay. They need to know at any given time how many people are in the viewing gallery, how many people are in reception area at any given time. And again, using video analytics, a little bit of Axis, a little bit of Genetec, we were able to tell them that as well. Okay. Key to this is because it is a public space, over the next 12 to 18 months, Martin's Law is going to be more and more in people's faces. Any public space, they would need to know exactly how many people are in there and a procedure if something happens. So, we should start using analytics a lot more for that reason as well. HVAC and the chillers. From a Genetec perspective, we monitor the chillers and the HVAC systems of 22 Bishopsgate. As said, they've got their own BMS. Okay, they've got their own BMS team. We're monitoring the critical chillers. There's a number of chillers which operate that building. If any of those chillers fail, one should kick in. Okay, we're monitoring those chillers. If they don't kick in and there's a temperature rise, okay, as soon as any one of those two happen, the security team will be notified. The security team will then reach out to the BMS team, because the BMS team are going to be out and about. They're going to be out fixing lights and screwing things to the wall, etc. Security are now the backstop for whole operations before it gets critical. And as well as that, we're monitoring a number of flows of water within the building as well. Again, flooding is a big risk within any high-rise building, any London building. Okay, so if there's any change or there's an anomaly in that flow of water, again, security will be notified, and they can very quickly either shut that off through the system. Air intake particles. We monitor the air intake within 22 Bishopsgate. So the idea here is, absolutely, there's going to be sensors taking the outside air within the building, and also we're monitoring the air in the building as well. If there is any change in the air quality of the air coming into the building, security be notified. Security can look at this in two ways. It could just be a change of emissions. However, it could also be a protest outside. It could be something more threatening to the tenants within that as well. Okay, so what this allows them to do is allows it to take the air quality and adjust the system, notify the tenants if something happens. New Year's Eve, their systems detected it. As soon as the fireworks started going off, okay, within 2 minutes, they were notified there's a slight change in the air quality coming into 22 Bishopsgate. Okay, as a result, security were able to analyze very quickly that it was the fireworks. Okay, and then they manually just shut down and recirculated the air inside the building. IoT and BACnet. IoT and BACnet. So within London, there is a large risk of what we call urban explorers. So they will find any high building, okay, and they'll climb the stairs or go through the stairwells up to the top, and then they'll jump off, film on Instagram, and post it, and everyone has loads of likes. This is a big threat for Bishopsgate. Okay, it hasn't happened to them, but I know it has happened to others out within the London area. By linking into all of the IoT sensors in the stairwells, there's not a camera in each and every stairwell, but there is a lighting sensor. Okay, so we are able to monitor all of these lighting sensors and notify if anyone is going up the stairwells. And we're also able to automatically put a challenge out to them as well. As said, linking all of these technologies together, we are looking after 22 Bishopsgate, as well as the large part of the access control, cameras, intercoms, IoT, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is where we are seeing a larger shift within security, okay, to create a smarter building. As said, you've got smart, and then you've got dumb, and you've got not so dumb. Okay, the not so dumb are having individual technologies not speaking to each other. The smart is where you're able to take it all in together. Thank you very much, everyone. I know we're on a tight schedule, but if anyone does have any questions, we're just based outside there. So, yeah, thank you very much. I'll take one question. How do you decide? Yeah, good question. So, yeah, we worked with Bishopsgate as an example because you need someone within that organization to be a visionary of technology. Okay, you don't want someone to look at individual technologies. Having a Glenn at 22 Bishopsgate, he was able to identify this is a threat. Let's get the system to do this. Okay, like the urban explorers going, he's looked at the whole building and went, actually, there's a risk here. Let's see if we can implement Genetec to help us with that. And that's the key thing, really, is engaging our technology partners, which we work with, to say, we want to do this, or we've got this issue. How can we help? Like I say, we know we can't do everything all the time. Okay, but at the same time, is we'd work with them to understand their problem, put them in touch with anyone who else has that same situation, and work together. I said, whether it's us, whether it's Axis, whether it's one of, 2,000 technology partners, we'll be able to point them in the right direction to help them. Yeah.